Well, when I first heard you guys, it was in the mid '90s, and that would have been the Epitaph era, I believe, right? Around
Yeah,
94, 95.
yeah, which would have been I guess the era that I guess put us on the on the map, so to speak. You know, that kind of put us to where we could, you know, kind of travel around the world and like have these anniversaries. I mean, now it's just my younger brother and I who
Mm-hmm.
are the principal songwriters in the band. We're the only ones left from the original four, which that was the original Voodoo Glow Skulls was like a four piece
Mm-hmm.
from 1988 to around 91, 92 ish. We were mostly just a four piece that always wanted to, like, you know, we were more like on the sort of wanted to be somewhere between, you know, I guess Operation Ivy and like Bad Religion or No Effects, kind of on that trip
Right.
then, you know. And but we always really loved Fishbone. That was a big deal. Was the horns and like the craziness of having like a 6 or 7 piece band that there was a lot to look at, and they looked cool and they sounded cool and they had style, and they were from LA, so you know, punk rock scene stuff too. So that catered to us because my older brother kind of got my younger brother I into like the two tone, like the British ska thing back in the '80s. So that was a big deal. And then Fishbone was there all of a sudden, and they were right down the block. I mean, they're right down the freeway. So when you're young, even you're, you know, like 14 and, you know, 15, and the Fishbone, the first, you know, I mean, the first EP is out, and
Right.
you hear Party at Ground Zero, it's like, whoa. It's like, for me, that, you know, for even being like a metal kid, you know, a punk rock kid, that for some reason was like, whoa, that's a cool genre, just on its own craziness, you know. And I think at that time, they caught us at that age, I guess, where we were in, you know, because we always, to go back to the genre question, man, you know, uh, that's, I guess that all sums up that whole thing is we've kind of been all over the place. We've always kind of wanted to do it all and like be like, I guess the Voodoo Glow Skulls would be a mixture of all these influences, like most people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like you mix it up, and to some people it wasn't necessarily like the best mixture or the ideal. You know, we used to catch some stuff. You know, we used to get some shit like back in the early days, like our first road trip to like Tucson. We played kind of like a sort of back then like a proper ska show with kids in suits and like rude boys, and
Right.
we were this band playing punk, like fast, like West Coast style, you know, trying to sound like No Effects and Bad Religion too.
Mm-hmm.
And we would get notes on our van written on like with lipstick after the shows. That was a memory where we're like, oh, people really protect their scene and kind of hate you, like, you mixed your chocolate with my peanut butter, you know, that kind of thing. So we got that kind of early on, and it kind of formed a sort of like a chip on our shoulder in a way, at least in the early days when you're young,
Right.
you know. Now, you know, as an older dude that just has been around the block and we've toured around the world and had somewhat of underground success, at least, you know, we've been able to keep this going. Now it's like, oh, that was funny, you know, that kind of formed our band in a way, like formed a lot of our, you know, a lot of our backbone was like,
Right.
oh yeah, when, you know, there's going to be like, oh yeah, there's even bullies in like the music scene. There's going to be people, there's people that hate you no matter what, even though you're like a happy go lucky band doing your thing and you're young, people are going to write notes and leave them on your band.